to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you the easiest plant-based pizza recipe. You're going to love this pizza dough so much, and so is your family. The bonus is it cost me about 19 cents per pizza for just the dough, and then when I tallied the ingredients I added to the top. The cheese pizza that I'm going to share with you cost me about $3, and the barbecue pizza cost me around $2. So of course the ingredient prices do vary depending on where you live. There goes my oven. The dough is ready to go. So I'm not going to keep chatting because we are in the midst of making these pizzas so we can enjoy them tonight for our date night. So give this video a big thumbs up and let's jump into the pizza making process. If you've been around my channel for a while, these ingredients might look really familiar to you. You're going to need some flour, some warm water, make sure it's not hot, and some nutritional yeast, salt, and some yeast. The reason you don't want super boiling hot water is because it will kill your yeast. You want it to be warm, almost like a warm cup of coffee, if you will. And if these ingredients look familiar to you, you've probably made the 3-ingredient dough recipe before. We are turning this into pizza dough. I do this all the time. I do want to note, if you want an extra crispy, fluffy crust, to add a couple tablespoons of club soda, but I'm actually going to make 2 crusts. I decided as I was making this video, but you're going to take a bowl and add a cup and a half of flour, a 3/4 cup of warm water, a little under a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, a sprinkle of salt, and then I actually like to add garlic and nutritional yeast. I didn't have any garlic on hand. I thought I did, and I didn't. You can also add Italian seasoning or chili flakes or any kind of spice to the dough as well, anything that you would like or your family would like or what would match your pizza that you're making. These also make really good dipping sticks if you want to make them for like garlic bread, if you like garlic bread with your pizza. Just another additive. But the difference with this and then the homemade bread that I always show on my channel is this: you're only going to let rise for about 2 hours. As long as you use the quick active yeast, 2 hours is the perfect time in a warm kitchen. The dough will not look as fluffy and sticky as it does when you're making bread, but that's okay. I'll show you what it looks like before it sits for 2 hours and then after, but you want it to be a little bit stiffer because it does make a crunchier crust. I've let this sit for 6 to 8 hours and it's just been too sticky to work with, and I find 2 hours is the perfect amount. So here is what it looks like, and then I'm going to add nutritional yeast to it. Please keep in mind you might need a little extra flour or extra water depending on your climate. Whenever you're making homemade bread products with flour, it can be very fickle depending on if it's really humid or really dry in your area. And I know that I live in a dry climate, so I kind of know eyeballing what my dough is going to look like. I don't even have to measure anything anymore. So if you bake a lot, you know that. But for this, like I said, you're just going to let it rise for 2 hours and you'll see what it looks like all wrapped up here. It's a little bit dry. This is one has not been mixed yet, but this will get nice and soft and it'll fluff up about 1.5 times the size, and then it'll be perfect and ready to roll out. It won't be too sticky and it'll give you the most beautiful, crunchy pizza dough crust. Once you've let your bread rise, which I cover it with just a regular tea towel, for at least 2 hours, you're going to turn your oven up to 450, and here you'll see what the dough looks like after. It's kind of fluffier and thicker, but it's so easy to roll out. It's not super sticky. I'm also going to share with you a homemade marinara that we like to make. You're going to use a small or large can of the petite diced tomatoes. It's totally up to you. Some nutritional yeast, sea salt. If you have garlic, I would throw garlic in, and Italian seasoning, and you're just making a homemade marinara. It's super easy, super simple. It's really delicious, and it goes great with all types of pizza. It's also really good if you want to put it over pasta, or like I said, you can make garlic sticks with this. What I would do if I was making garlic sticks is I would actually make the dough as is, and then I would slice it at the end, and then almost like Pizza Hut does. If you guys have ever had Pizza Hut, like back in the day in college, that was our jam. But you're just going to make it on a sheet, put some garlic and butter over it if you'd like, and then cut it at the end and it'll be perfection. So here is the homemade marinara, and then I'll show you how easy this dough is to roll out. You don't even have to flip it if you don't want to. I did on the second one because it was a little bit stickier, but just put some flour down and roll it out, and it is so simple and so easy. And like I said, it really does make the perfect crust. And I tallied out the cost for these pizzas, and it cost me 19 cents for a crust, which is insane. And then two pizzas together, in total we bought $5 worth of toppings. So that's crazy for two really big pizzas, which would feed probably a family of 4 or 5, we had tons of leftovers on this night. Unlike the homemade bread recipe, I do not put my pans in the oven while they're preheating. I actually just sprayed a little tiny spritz of avocado oil on the top of them. I find that just a tiny spritz of oil works really well so that it doesn't stick. You could actually add a little bit more flour to your dough bottom if you wanted to, but because it doesn't have a lid to steam it, it is going to stick a little bit. You could also use a silicone baking sheet if you have one. I don't have one, but that would also keep it from sticking. So here's the second crust. I did flip it over because I did notice it was a little bit stickier and I wanted a little bit more flour. It doesn't matter the shape that you roll out, whatever you want. As you can see, I'm just using a regular cookie baking sheet, an extra large one. So I actually pop these into my oven, the dough, like this before I put the topping on for about 12 minutes. Like I said, I do bake at 450 degrees for about 12 minutes, and then I take them out after 12 minutes and I make sure that they are nice and crispy, and then I add my toppings and cook for an additional about 4 or 5, and I think the crust is always perfection. So on this day, I did decide to do just a regular cheese pizza, and I did buy a vegan cheese to try out, and to be honest, neither my husband and I really love that cheese, so it won't be a repurchase for us. So if you like vegan cheese, you could absolutely use it. I've used just homemade cheese sauce before on my pizza, and it's been much better, I think, than this cheese, but we wanted to try something new. But here is the crust all ready to go. Actually, almost lost this one, but it's nice and crunchy, and it will start to bubble a little bit if you put club soda in it. And that one wasn't quite done to my liking yet, so I popped it back in. But like I said, we did a regular cheese pizza, and then we also decided to do a barbecue onion and chickpea, which I wish I would have had red onion instead of white onion. That would have been really good, but it was still delicious. A few other options, you could add some jalapenos. If you like spice, you could add pineapple if you like sweetness, but really the endless possibilities you can make with this pizza dough crust, and I know your family's gonna love it, especially because a lot of you cook for your families and you have children and you have husbands, you know, so you want different meals that are different and still whole food plant-based that are also fun options. We like making pizza a couple times a month. It's just something special that we do for date night, and it feels really fun to just make something different. But also, it's way cheaper than buying pizza at a store. I know that we really like to support our vegan restaurants here in town, but sometimes it's really nice just to kick back and make some pizza for date night like we did today. So like I said, I did pre-bake the crust for about 12 minutes at 450 degrees. If your oven cooks hotter or cooler than mine, you're going to have to cook more or less. And then when they came out, they were absolute perfection. I forgot to grab a picture of the cheese one, but here's the barbecue one, and it was so delicious. I hope you give these a try, and I hope you tag me over on Instagram and let me know what your family thought of this pizza dough recipe. I quickly want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you make this pizza, I hope you will tag me over on Instagram and let me know what you think. I hope your family enjoys it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!